Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. Today we are starting with the energy of, that's right, the Knight of Cups. This is one of my favorite energies. This is one of emotional maturity. This is one of really being able to use your passions, your emotional impressions, experiences, sensations, and putting them into your work, into your creative processes, letting them be alive and flowing within all sectors of your life. Now, the king or the knight is not perfectly realized. This is not an enlightened being, if you will, right? But this is an intentional being. This is a being that has taken the time to do the work and continues to do so. So, the beloved is here. The beloved is here. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn this thing. And I want to say thank you for clicking on the reading. It is always such a huge honor to be able to do readings for you. Now, this is a tea leaf reading, and we did begin with a tarot card. I like to have a tarot card in the beginning just to kind of give us an idea of like, what is the energy going to be like? What is Spirit trying to tell us? What is the universe trying to tell us? Our loved ones. Now we have the number 60. I'm going to go 68. Although it looks like it's almost, well, look at this. It actually looks like a 3 too. 3, 6, 8. Like this, kind of 8, 3, 6, 8, right? Or is it 5265? We could look at it all day long. I'm going to go 5265, but we also have 3, 6, 8. Yeah. That's what we're going to go with. It's two different things. 368 and also 5265. Okay, so write those numbers down if you are somebody who has a fondness for lucky numbers or synchronicities, or, just, you just want to see. You want to see, is this lady full of it? Does she know what she's talking about? Take some notes, and if you experience some of the stuff, some of the details, then put them in the comments. Come on back and put them in the comments. All right, here we go. So we have what looks like, well, we have the death or chronos or time archetypes. So we have the head of the being here, and then kind of the long robe or shroud, and then up here we have the scythe, okay, which is the harvesting, the reaping tool. Now, this doesn't mean that anybody is going to pass away, right? It doesn't mean there's bad health. But it is kind of this energy of, have you ever heard of like the memento mori, right? This is the idea that we must remember that we dwell beside death always, right? Now, in psychotherapy, Hillman, Freud, and so on, we talk about the things that kind of push us through life, our drives, right? Our motivations, the things that often are not desires so much as fears, right? So death is usually noted as the ultimate driving force for many of the things we do because it is in stark contrast to life, right? We think of abundance and, riches and love and sensuality and family and laughing and all of these things, right? This is like peak life stuff, like fullness, flourishing, busy. And then, right, in contrast, there is the more kind of morose, glacial, right, frozen in place, appearing to be kind of a fixed state among a vast and arid landscape, empty. And so we often, or so it is supposed, right, that to stay away from that, we do what we can to not feel death beside us, right? We love big, we indulge, we, maybe even become somewhat gluttonous in our lives, compulsive, so on and so forth. But here's the thing. I think that when we begin to accept our soul contract with death, if we could think of death as an intelligent archetype or a sentient conscious being, right? Even though it is kind of an abstract idea. When we can it's not embracing, but just really noticing, yes, death is part of life. And that's what makes things sweet, right? I'm somebody, I've lost a lot of people in my life. I lost my parents at a young age. I experienced witnessing, death up close, seeing what that looks like. And then throughout my life, I've lost, quite a few people to all kinds of things, a lot of young people, friends, peers, people I worked with to the opiate epidemic, actually. That's been the biggest thing. But I live next to death. I know there's not a moment in my day that I don't realize that things could easily just be done. My first husband passed away in his sleep out of nowhere. A heart condition. And we were young. I wasn't even 30 years old yet. About to be, but not yet. And, it is apparent to me when I meet somebody who knows death. Now, I've also had I've had two experiences where my heart stopped and I was, clinically deceased, right? So one of them, not a huge experience. It didn't, it was just darkness. But the other one, very profound. And that's also something that you recognize in people. There are some of us that, though we are not devotees of the death cult, right? We are the priestesses. We are the priests. We are the children that dwells beside death. And there is no avoiding that for any of us. And so I feel, and this does not surprise me, as you are an earthen being as well, Taurus, and I am a Virgo, you understand all too well. And it does not scare you. In fact, I think that you have a great respect for this transition. I do believe that you are at a point in your life right now, in this moment, where something is causing you to really reflect upon your mortality. There is something that you have seen, that you have felt, that has shifted. And it has changed you. Once you have seen it, you cannot unsee it. And so now I feel you, aware, not afraid, but emboldened. I feel that you are emboldened to live as you want to versus how you have thought you needed to. Now, I want to look over here. We have, it looks like, and I want to look at it like this because we have a group of people here. We have one here, okay, and there's also a child. There's a child here as well. There's a person here. You can see the head and the body and the little leg. And there's houses. It reminds me of like a neighborhood, like a what are those, like planned developments, those like tract housing suburbs, right? And it feels like to me I keep seeing the word can't. C-A, and there would be an N, T. Or, oh no, here's the N. C-A-N-T. Can't. And then we have the fish up here. It looks like, if you look at it, like kind of like this, it looks like they're swimming. Fish, fish, fish. And it's surrounding this person. Okay, so this is somebody who is good at making money. This is somebody in your life who like has started businesses. They've always got stuff going on. If you ever like needed a job, you could probably go to this person and find work through them. I do feel like that there is something coming up here where some skill you have or knowledge that you have, some ability that you have, I feel like it's like they're seeking you out for your expertise. And I feel like in the moment you are almost kind of like, I've never done anything like that, so I don't really know. I might be the wrong person. But I do feel like if you really like take this chance and do the thing, like even if you don't know what you're doing, you just start doing. You have a general idea because obviously you have some kind of skill set, right? Or you have some kind of experience. So you're not going in like fully blind on this thing. But I feel like for you, it's almost kind of like you've always worked for other people, or you've only done this by yourself, or you know what I mean? So, and by yourself is like, let me explain. Like for me, when I first started doing readings, right, I was super freaked out about doing them in person. I still get nervous. It depends on the person, like absolutely. But I just felt like they're going to like know that I'm like scared and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm trying to figure this out, and it's hard. It's hard to get over that kind of initial instinct to be like, well, wait a second here, let me think about this. What are we going to do here? So I feel like for you to, instead of sinking too deeply in the what ifs, being proactive and thinking, you know what? I have something for that. I have an idea. I had been thinking about maybe trying something like, whatever it is. And I feel like as you kind of build this creative relationship with this person, I do feel that there is a sense of opportunities beginning to open up for you. I really feel like the big thing too is you being reacquainted with yourself. And what do I mean by that? It's like remembering, right? How amazing you are, how gangster you are, how skilled you are, we can all go through periods of time where we get into the flow of, our lives. Oftentimes that's taking care of our families and working and, just kind of trying to navigate that. That's in itself difficult. But to add on top of that, creating and running your own kind of side hustle or business, it can feel like a lot. It can feel impossible, really. Do people actually do that? That's what I used to say. Can people actually just start a business? Yeah, they can. Now, they don't always work out, of course, but yeah, I do. And I think that as you are finding your confidence again, remembering who you is, I do feel like these opportunities, these doors are opening for you. Now I'm going to take a drink real quick. I have been on this kick with ice lately. It has been so hot where we live here. My husband over at Dove and Serpentero, his name is Paul. Go check him out if you haven't seen him before. We're just, I don't know. The weather is just wild. It could, some years it's snowing already where I'm at. And today it's going to be 90 degrees. I've been going through the ice like crazy. So I also feel like there's a family member. Maybe it is a sibling. Because I'm seeing in these people that I was showing you earlier, it looks like there's it's children, a lot of play. And we have up here, it almost kind of looks like the person we were looking at earlier, the head, body up here sitting, holding a cat, it looks like, and then having the kids kind of all around. So to me, it is almost kind of, it's definitely feels like the empress energy. We have the letters LJ right here. And I'm wondering, what is going on with the family stuff here? Because it almost reminds me of the Emerald City, back in the distance here. And I feel like there's this real calling to getting back to a place. And I'm seeing an ear, and then I see people around the ear. And I feel like it's there's been some huge disconnect within your family. And I think this is your family of origin. Maybe when grandma, grandpa, mom, dad somebody who kind of really kept the family together passed away. It feels like there's been like a fracture in the family, and there seems to be this inability to listen to each other. This immediate need to like cut each other off and like be right, and then hop on the social medias and start bickering at one another and put each other's business out there, and now nobody trusts each other, and it's just this sense of continual conflict. And I think for you just want to be able to see all the grandkids and nieces and nephews and get together and have fun. And it seems like everybody is like hell-bent on making it impossible. And I think for you, you're getting to a point where you do feel like, and I'm looking over here, it looks like a heart. It feels like a heartache, because there's not a real like clear path forward to get things worked out. So I do feel you really employing that empress energy, and that is one of diplomacy, one of ease, one of being able to listen and to only, really respond in measure. Now, there isn't this like reactive up and down and back and forth and, making threats and ultimatums and this kind of thing. That's not what the Empress does. The Empress is an enchantress, in my mind, before all other things. The Empress is one that helps uphold the veneer, right? The image of a royal family, of leadership, of, being a figurehead, a face that is put on the power, right? The thing that is keeping the systems going and the infrastructure together and, things growing and thriving and so on and so forth. But you don't see all the nitty gritty. You don't see all the chaos and sorrow and toil and these kinds of things, because the Empress is, again, the enchantress. She is, the beauty that brings life and makes you forget about that subterranean, that, the winter side, the night side, the descent. So I do feel that, I feel like you just really want everything to be okay, and you are willing to play the role of the peacekeeper, of the one that is going to make sure that everybody's kind of like, are you coming? Are you showing up? Even if you have to do the majority of the work. I see you really in this next period of time prioritizing bringing your people together. Okay. Now, we also have the gallows up here. Now, nobody's on it, but this is where we would see the hanged man. So there is something that has to happen within the realm of sacrifice. Okay. This is a intentional and chosen sacrifice. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about any kind of weird, black magic or whatever. That's not what I mean. What I mean is sometimes in our life we come to a point where we want something different. We want to go in a new direction. And to do so, we are going to have to let go of some of the old stuff that does not serve us well. The people, the places, the habits, the environments that we find ourselves, the thinking loops that we get into. It's a lot of work to change your life. It's a lot of work to, try to become something else, right? And to do so in earnest. I don't mean just like change your style up because, this morning you're listening to, old school gangster rap instead of, some like pop country or whatever, which, by the way, I am a shapeshifter in that way as well. I definitely change it up depending on what kind of media I am consuming. And I'm not ashamed to say that. But, and I'll actually, you know what? Let me tell you a little silly secret. My husband, again, Paul over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, I'm very aware of the stuff that we watch, like TV shows, because when we watch them, he will pick up the mannerisms and accents if they're like very distinct and start to use some of it in like his normal speech or whatever. And so like, because he obviously is doing readings every day, he works like nonstop. I'm like, we gotta be careful about what you're watching. We both keep wanting to go back and watching Boardwalk Empire again. And I'm like, I don't know about that, because every time we watch it, he starts talking all old-timey. And it's like, I think it's, I don't know, pretty hot. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, dude, you can't be all old-timey on your... on your readings. But yeah, influenced by things, it happens to the best of us. So anyways, here's the deal. I feel like there's just such a sense of, I don't know, like a relief. I feel like you've been in a state of relief that you have not had in a while. Probably since before 2020, right? That's the big marker for a lot of us, like when things really changed. I'm thinking about that 3-eye atlas. I'm sorry, my brain just like totally went to that. I've been watching so much stuff about it and reading about it. Have you seen anything about 3-eye atlas? Really interesting. It's like an interstellar body of some kind, maybe a comet. They think it might be a comet, but there's a lot of like, amateur space people, astrotheologists or astrophysicists, not astrotheologists. That's the thing, though. Look up astrotheology if you're interested in going down a rabbit hole. Very cool. I'll even shout out, and I don't know if he ever got in trouble for saying anything like weird or, whatever. So I don't know. I'm not endorsing the dude, but I really would say, if you like to listen to kind of different paradigm kind of lectures, look up astrotheology and Michael Tessarion. Okay, Michael Tessarion. Also, shout out to Jordan Maxwell, who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. But anyways, yeah. Astrophysicist. And this 3-eye atlas, it's like, it's behaving in ways that we haven't seen, but that doesn't really mean anything because we don't know that much about the universe at all, right? So anyways, pretty cool. I am excited to see what the news is today about it. I haven't looked yet, but I do feel like cooking, harvesting, doing something with your hands, yard work maybe. Here's a person holding, it looks like a Y, but I'm going to look at this as some kind of like maybe plants or something like that. Now this one over here almost looks like they have that, what are those things called? A billows, I think. It's like it's a thing that you kind of like an accordion and you pump it and it blows air into the fireplace to stoke the fire. When people used to keep fires in their houses to keep it warm. And then on top, it looks like we have like a chemistry tube of some kind. Maybe, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've never done physical alchemy, like as far as like chemistry and that kind of thing. My husband, now he's the one that is interested in the plant alchemy and chemistry and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm all Jungian and spirit alchemy and that kind of thing. So I feel like there's something very tactile, hands-on. You are lost in the flow of it. Like, it just sucks you in. And this is actually, I think, where this beloved feeling is. Returning to something that maybe you used to really enjoy when you were younger and you haven't had time or maybe the will to do it in the last, 20 years, 30, 40 years. And now you do. You have the time to go and do the thing. Now, maybe it's something like, doing pottery on a pottery wheel or doing, alchemy. Maybe you're making wine or cooking or, whatever it is. But I do feel like this is something that is a gift to yourself, to allow yourself to be fully immersed in something that fills you up instead of takes away. And I do. I think that's the ultimate present. Okay, there we go. 82. Number 82. Oh, so we're still sick over here. It's been about 2 weeks. 98. And it was 2 different sicknesses. But I'm starting to worry I'm getting... my chest just won't break up all the way. And even though I've been exercising and riding still, I ride... I cycle every day. And 92 again. We'll do one more. I can't. 98. Okay. I forgot what the numbers were. I got lost in my own stuff. My chest is just, I don't know. I'm hoping I'm not getting pneumonia again. Like, I don't know. And my husband, his ear is very plugged. And he's taking some medicine, like, antibiotics. But it doesn't seem to be helping. So I told him tonight I'm doing the onions. Some of you have said, he should do the onions. And I definitely am all about that home remedy life. If you can fix it with that. But with antibiotics not working, that we need to do some other things, right? We need to really try to do all the things, really. So, yeah, anyways, I just feel out of sorts because I've been sick. And I know the other day somebody was like, "Are you lit on here?" I was like, "Girl, yeah, NyQuil." Or whatever. I don't remember. Maybe it was Robitussin or something. Yeah, it just, I don't know, man. It takes you out when you're continually getting sick and you don't, if you're a parent and you work or whatever, you have a business and stuff, there's no sick days. There's no, I'm going to stay in bed today unless everybody's super sick, which we have not been all sick enough to be in bed all day at the same time. So anyways, I love you. I needed to complain to somebody. Thank you. Taurus, if anybody's going to listen to me, it's going to be you. I know. You're like the sweetest. I love Taurus people. Actually, my first husband that I was talking about, he was a Taurus. So anyways, I love you. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, we'll talk soon. Good night.